Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. Welcome to day 6 in single shadow week. I'm really excited to do my first week long, I guess it's not my first week long of posting, but it's my first week long that's themed of posting, and I'm very excited about this. So this is the single shadow tag that was started by Cassie, or A Makeup Journey. I'll have her Instagram linked down below in the description box, so you can just click that and go to her page, that kind of thing. There have been a ton of other content creators that have done the single shadow tag. There may be ones that are in the past, but I am doing Cassie's list of 10 questions today for my single shadow tag. I have my shadows pulled in front of me. You're going to notice themes on similar colors because I'm a creature of habit. But I am filming this will be in tomorrow's video. This look is going to be included in tomorrow's video. You guys voted on the shade that was used in this look, so thank you for voting. If you want to be part of the next round, just make sure to follow my Instagram. It's Laura Force Beauty. I always have it down here somewhere. But yeah, let's just get into the single shadow tag. The first question in the tag is, what is your current favorite single shadow? My current favorite single shadow is going to be this guy here. This looks so basic and nothing exciting in the pan. This is a Clionadh multi-chrome. This is from their series 2 iridescence. This is the shade Fluoresce. This is such a beautiful, beautiful shade. I am not wearing it on my eyes today, but I have this incredible, a very noticeable dip in this shade. Now that the sun's kind of tucked behind a cloud, I don't know if you can see the dip in there. That's just natural. That is just me dipping into this shade. Because this has such a substantial pan or dip in it, I know when I do hit pan, I'm one, going to be so sad, and two, it's going to be huge by the time I do hit pan in this. It is so unbelievably pretty. This is one of my favorite shadows. It looks great topping things. It looks great by itself. It's just such a wet, sheeny, beautiful. It has a little bit of a purple that you will not be able to see, but it goes from a translucent to purple teal. It's so pretty and so dimensional, and my natural lighting is not going to do the shade justice for how much it flips, but it is so stunning. Then the second prompt is right along the same wavelength. It is essentially what has been dethroned and is now your second favorite shade. So what was your favorite shade before the one that took its spot? And for me, it's this guy here. This is Dandelion Cosmetics, and this is the shade Dahlia. This is a shade you'll see kind of on repeat within this assortment of shades. This is just so pretty. This is so beautiful. It's that same wavelength where it kind of tilts and turns an orange to a lime kind of thing. So many shades in my collection are similar to this. I have many Natasha Denona shades that are similar to this, and yet I can't get enough. It is so stinking pretty. It's like a peach base to a green chartreusey kind of flip. Yeah, it's so pretty. And I did want to just say an honorable mention to that is a shade that used to be a long favorite of mine, but it's technically not a single, so it doesn't really fit in the video because we're talking about I feel strictly singles. But I do want to honorably mention this depotted shade from my Juvia's Play Saharan palette. This is the shade Wodabi. I love these kind of dirty olives, I like to call them. They're just a dirty gold where it's kind of an olivey shade. Oh, so pretty. The next question was your favorite one and done eyeshadow, and this one actually took me quite a bit of time to kind of think about, because I don't really use any eyeshadow as a one and done, but the one that I probably use the most frequently when I'm doing a very simple eye look is actually one that's been in my recent project pan. That is the Natasha Denona Duochrome Topper shade, because this one you can really build up and get some good dimension and buildability. You can get some good opacity with this and really deepen up the impact of it And simultaneously, it makes it really interesting because it's not just like an orange base, it has the flip of the green to it. But this is what my Natasha Denona duochrome topper is. You can, I hopefully see like the different dimensions inside of there. I like this as a blush. I'll wear it on like the apples of my cheeks as a blush, or I can really intensify it, and you'll notice it looks very similar to Dahlia that we just used, but a little bit more opaque, I would say, a little bit more intense than Dahlia, but it makes a really beautiful one and done eyeshadow. The next question is for what is a single shadow that I think is the most underrated, and I don't think that this is necessarily specific to this color, but, or like this specific shade brand's color, but I think it's more like the general color of it, I think is very underrated. And that's just a neutral, basic, slightly deeper than your skin tone kind of shade, because these go with literally everything. They are such a workhorse shade. I have so many in my collection. I actually was going to pull a ColourPop one that was similar, but decided to showcase Luxie Beauty as another indie brand. Now, the next prompt I think is like the polar opposite. It's for something I think is overrated or not worth the hype. And this one was a very no-brainer moment for me. I actually ended up going with a MAC pigment. There are so many brands that have the same kind of shade, if not brands that have kind of reinvented and reformulated and made this kind of shade so much better. But I know MAC Blue Brown is what paved the way. I never thought that they looked good on me, and I always was so annoyed with like why everyone loved them and I just don't. And now swatching it, I'm like, oh, so pretty. But I still think there are so many other shades on the market from other indie brands that are so much more impactful and more beautiful than this, where this is just kind of like. Next question is for what is a single shadow that kind of represents your favorite single shadow brand? And this was a no-brainer for me, and you'll see many of this brand sprinkled into the rest of these questions. But this guy here is what I said represents my favorite single shadow brand. This is Clionadh Cosmetics. This is their glitter multi-chrome in the shade Ornamental. It is such a perfect shade for me. It is such a perfect formula for me, and I think it encapsulates what I love from my favorite brand, which is Clionadh Cosmetics for my singles anymore. This is the Glitter Multi-Chrome, which is definitely my favorite formula by far in Clionadh. It is kind of similar to Woe Dabi, but more special than Woe Dabi, where it's kind of like that dirty olive, dirty gold kind of color. It's just so pretty and just so wet and sparkly and incredible. A single shadow that I had to grow to love, and I actually technically haven't used this shade yet, but I know this is going to be one of those shades that I'm going to love because another shade taught me to love this kind of shade. And it's this shade here, again by Clionadh. This is the shade Carving, and I feel like it's a little cheaty to put this in as like a shade I grew to love, but I'm going to swatch this out, and then I'm going to swatch another shade that's very similar that is the true shade that I learned to love, but that's not a single, and we're playing the single game. So this here is Carving by Clionadh. Oh, so pretty. It's kind of like MAC Blue Brown, but if MAC Blue Brown was a little bit more intense and a little brighter. And this is actually from Fantasy Cosmetica. You can see like the similarities between it. That is from the Druid palette. Did you guys see that they're re-releasing this in new packaging? And it's going to be magnetic. So the next prompt is an eyeshadow or like a single that I would give to my worst enemy. And really, first of all, I wouldn't give anything to my worst enemy because they're my enemy and I don't want to give them anything. But if I was going to pick a single eyeshadow that I didn't like, and I was like, you know what, friend, here you go. I actually don't have them in my collection anymore because if I don't like something, I typically move it on out. But I ended up saying, and I'll pop some pictures up right here, I ended up saying ColourPop Jelly Much eyeshadow pot things, where they're like the jelly, I don't know why I keep shaking my hand, they're like a little jelly thing that wiggles and you like put it on your eye. For some reason, I don't know how or who can use those. Definitely not me and my oily lids. So those would be the products that I'd say, like, have fun using those kind of things. A single shadow that I would pay double for, and this one I really had to think over because some of them are really, I have some expensive single eyeshadows, but I think, one, I did get this for half off, not half off, but like I got this on a discount, so I would gladly pay double my discount price for. And the amount of product in here and then the color, I think I would actually splurge a little bit more for. And that's actually this single here. This is the KVD Vegan Beauty Dazzle Stick. This is in the shade Electro Bolt. It is so freaking pretty, and I don't use it enough, namely because I feel like I had this thing that is very similar to it in a project recently, but this guy here is so gorgeous, and that was such a light swatch of it. Like, I barely tapped on, and the pigment is so incredible on this. For some reason, this like holds on for dear life on my eyes, and this is so freaking pretty. I definitely want to buy some of the other shades if they have more shades anymore. I don't know if this even exists anymore. Then the last prop was a single shadow that best represents you, and I had to go with my favorite color in a single shadow because I feel like that would really encapsulate me the most, and that is this single here. And this is just a little spicy mint, if you will. This is Clionadh Cosmetics Mural. It is so stinking pretty. It is incredible. It is a like light teal, or mint as I like to call them, kind of based multi-chrome with a intense like orangey gold shift. It's so incredible. It is such a cool color to wear because you can do really minty, like cool toned on the inner, and then have a really warm blown out outer crease, and then bridge them with this because it's just so cool. Warm toned, but gives me the color that I love the most. So that's definitely number one in my life in representing me. I ended up putting all of the shades from like my independently magnetic singles into this palette to show you kind of the theme of colors that encapsulate me and my makeup aesthetic. And look at that. Do we see the Natasha Denona Yucca palette if it was like exciting, fun, multi-chromes in there or what? Like this definitely looks like my kind of color story. Like 1000%. I feel very comfortable, and this is like a very like a workable color story to me. It's a lot of greens, let's be real. And then in addition to this, we have more of the same. I have a type apparently with my single eyeshadows, and I am 1000% okay with that. So if you have any recommendations in any other brands that have similar colors to apparently the sea of the same that I like, I have a type and I like to stick to it apparently. So that is it for the single shadow tag. Let me know if you are going to do this tag, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, TikTok, you name it. If you post content somewhere, you can post panning content there, and I would love to check you out as well. So let me know in the comments below if you are doing this tag as well. I would love it if you tag me in your tag video so I can watch you as well. But that is it. Thank you again to Cassie for creating this tag and having these questions. I'd love to stretch outward and try some more things, but my battery is dying, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are. I hope you are staying healthy, sane, and safe, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye. Why am I out of whack right now?